You cannot lower the sales tax unless you increase another tax. The sales tax in the city of New York is 8.5%.
Well, he was trying to lower the sales tax with the increasing of the income tax.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The tax that you want to further reduce, if you can, is the income tax, even before the sales tax. And the reason is that most cities have a sales tax, or states have. Most cities do not. In fact, I don't know of any other city has, as we do, an income tax. So you want to eliminate or reduce the differential. It was foolish. He certainly recognized it. And he's a man who I have described in the past as someone who doesn't make up his mind quickly. But when he does, he quickly changes it.
You have said that you would not go whole hog in criticizing David Dinkins because you fear being branded racist. And he said, even he says that's really ridiculous.
Well, let me tell you what I actually said. I said that I would be very careful in what I said when I criticized David Dinkins because of the fear, not that David Dinkins would accuse me unfairly of racism or taking something out of context to use it that way, but that some of his supporters might. And I pointed to the fact that the New York Times had run a very detailed article on David Dinkins' problems in paying his taxes. He didn't pay taxes for 4 years. I have said that's tax evasion. He doesn't like the description, but that's exactly what it is. If you're a lawyer, you know you have to pay taxes. If you don't pay them, and you know you have to pay taxes, that's called tax evasion.
He says he didn't evade them, he postponed them.
There is no such thing as postponing without permission. He had no permission to postpone. In fact, the applications that his agents sent in asking for an extension were false in part. They said that he had filed an income tax return. He said, well, I didn't sign that. Well, you're responsible for your agents in this particular case. But put that aside. Whether he thinks that... Well, I'll put it another way. How would you describe his not paying taxes for 4 years? Supposing you didn't pay taxes for 4 years, how would you describe it?
How would I describe it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on the circumstance.
I think you would say tax evasion. I didn't pay my taxes. Everybody else knows that you're supposed to pay taxes, certainly a lawyer. But I want to put that aside. When the New York Times did that in a very well-researched article, with new information, not just the original information, but pointing out that he had to pay much more in back taxes than was originally stated by him at the time, and penalties and interest, etc. The New York Times was then attacked by his major institutional supporter, which is the Amsterdam News, and that's run by Wilbert Tatum, who is the publisher. And Tatum attacked the New York Times as racist. Now, if he has the gall to attack the New York Times as racist for simply reporting factually a news story, which I think is relevant, it certainly would be relevant if I didn't pay my taxes, you think that they wouldn't tell you about that? You think that would be a big secret? You think that wouldn't be front-page news? Come on, give me a break.
Don't you think in general we're...
So all I'm simply saying is if they would attack the New York Times, his supporters, not he, as racist, what do you think they would do to somebody like me? Therefore, what I said was I will continue to criticize him, but every time I talk about him, I want a bell to go off in my head to make sure that the language I employ is defensible and that cannot be taken out of context and used by someone like Tatum at the Amsterdam News to run a banner headline, Koch makes a racist remark. That's all I said. Now, I think that's a fair statement.
Do you feel we're perhaps too quick in this city to use the word racist anytime there's a confrontation between a black and a white?
It's the refuge of a charlatan to accuse someone else of... with false charges of racism, and it happens all the time. And then try to escape from them. Try to catch up with the false charges. Very hard to do.
In addition to what the polls indicate, there's a story about your financial team being $17,000 in the red. Does that worry you at this time? Is that something that you expect?
No, it means that we have to work harder to raise money. We've raised over $1 million. We have to raise a total of $3,600,000. That's the cap. $3 million plus $600,000 for expenses, and we will raise it. I'm very proud of the fact that the campaign finance chairman, there are two of my campaign, are Joe Flom and Beverly Sills. They are the chairs, and I'm very proud of that. And then a large number of other citizens who want to help me. But I think every campaign has a problem. Under our new law, the maximum that anyone can give for any one of the elections, the primary, is $3,000. Under the state law, which would apply if we hadn't passed a special law, which I initiated, instead of a max of $3,000, people could give $50,000, and many did.
When Rudolph Giuliani joined a law firm and it became evident that the law firm had ties to places like Panama and other clients that did not put Giuliani in a good light, you were critical of him. And it recently came out that you had stock in companies that did business with South Africa.
Well, let me explain that. Firstly, what I said about Giuliani was that he joined as a partner, and he knew what he was getting into, because when you join a law firm as a partner, it's normal for you to look at their client list and they to look at yours. And in this case, had he looked at the client list, he would have been made aware of the fact that one of the clients is a Panamanian bank that has been indicted as a money launderer, and that is under the direct authority of Noriega, who is the Panamanian dictator. And he should have known that. In fact, I think he was so embarrassed ultimately because of all the criticism that he left with, I think, something like $200,000 in his pocket, which he received for services to date. I don't know what the services are, and he refuses to tell. Doesn't want to give us the original employment agreement or partnership agreement. He doesn't want to give us the suspension agreement. He said it's not a termination agreement. So God knows what they have promised him when and if he comes back. Now, totally different with me. I initiated with others the laws that apply to what the city and its pension funds will and will not do with respect to companies, American companies, that continue to do business in South Africa. And we have the toughest rules on that in America, and they are in stages. They don't all go into effect at any one time in terms of disinvestment. I have a stock portfolio because I don't want to know what stocks I have. I have given it to a money manager with instructions not to buy stocks that have come from companies that do business in South Africa. That's his instruction. And to follow what the pension funds do with respect to divestment of such stocks. He's a very good man, and I'm probably his only client to make so many demands upon him, and he's been very successful in terms of the investments and the increases that flow from those investments. So I would prefer to have a totally blind trust, which would mean that I would never see the stock list. Instead, I see the stock list in December or January when I make up my income taxes and have to sign the tax form, something that everybody should do if they have an income, and report their taxes, which I do and have done religiously from the day I first went to work. Now, I have never forgotten that it is against the law not to file taxes if you have an income. But in any event, when I do this, I don't even look at the stocks then. But even if I did, I wouldn't know that an American company is doing business or not doing business in South Africa. And it turns out that of all the stocks, two companies were doing business. American companies had interest in South Africa. So when I was told that, I immediately told the broker, sell it. Now, the broker was very apologetic. He had not followed through, and he was sorry about that. I'm not going to kill him. He didn't get the list from the pension fund. Not terrible. He didn't commit a crime, and I didn't commit any willful act. I had no control over my portfolio. Further, I tried to make it into a blind trust where I would never see it. And I couldn't, because under our law, which will be changed when the new integrity panel comes into effect under the charter. But currently, there is no way of mine declining to file the list of my assets, including the stocks, with the Department of Investigation and the city clerk, and those reports in part and the stock list are available to the press. There's never any, confidentiality. They see the stocks all the time. Under the new rules, the Integrity Commission can allow you, we believe, to have a blind trust, and I will never see it, and neither will the reporters. The only reason I'm aware of this is that Dave Pressman, to his credit, went and looked at the stocks. So I sold them. There's no comparability.
We'll take a pause when we come back. We'll have one of our telephones for Mayor Koch, 212-570-WMCA. You're on WMCA. Hello.
Yes, Mayor Koch. You talked a very convincing game in trying to paint David Dinkins as a flip-flop artist. But I was there at the press conference today, and he stuck to his guns. He said that he would give a bonus in face of the Guardians right there and other fraternal organizations there in support of him. He said that he would give a bonus to not only Hispanic officers, but Yiddish officers.
Yeah, I know, but there are very few Jews who speak Yiddish on the police force. There are Jews on the police force, but very few who speak Yiddish. All I'm simply saying is it was reported to us through my press office that he flip-flopped or flop-flipped on these three issues. If he did not, we'll read about it in tomorrow's paper, and I'll withdraw the comment.
I was there. I heard it.
Listen, I will withdraw the comment tomorrow after we get the independent observations of the reporters who were present.
Thank you, Jay. You're on WMCA. Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Koch, you've been mayor for 12 years now. If you have any vision for the next 4 years, why hasn't it been accomplished in the last 12?
Well, you can say why aren't we putting people on Saturn because we've only put people on the moon?
For the next 4 years?
No, please let me try to explain. When I came into office, this city was on the edge of bankruptcy. And we had $1 billion budgetary deficit. We had lost you have to listen to me, otherwise we'll tune you out, and I'll just keep talking. So if you listen, you'll have a chance to reply. We had lost 600,000 jobs. We had no market rating, and we had no capital budget. So my major problem was fiscal at that time. We've turned that all around. We gained, in the last 10 years, 325,000 jobs. We have a market rating of A. We have a capital budget this current year of a little less than $6 billion. Last year of $4 billion. We have no budgetary deficit, and we are in relatively good shape, better than almost any city, if not every city in America, even though we have financial problems, as does every state. Now our next 4 years has to deal with different problems. Our problems now are AIDS, drugs, homelessness, and even there, if you take the issue of construction of homes, I created the largest housing program in America. 252,000 housing units will be constructed in a 10-year period, and they're going on right now at the rate of 1,000 apartments at affordable rents coming off the production line every single month.
Buster.
What?
Can you say something?
Yeah.
What is your vision for the next 4 years?
I'm happy to do that, but
why haven't you achieved it?
Well, that's
isn't
repeating it. There are problems that have to be addressed at the time that you're addressing them. And if you're asking me what we're going to do in the next 4 years, I will tell you. The import of your question is you could do everything in the first year. Impossible.
No. You've been here for 12 years. What are you going, what do you...
If you will allow me to,
well,
why
don't you be quiet so you can hear an answer? Right. Every time the mayor talks longer than 2 sentences, you start interrupting him.
Right.
So
my
let him
vision,
finish, and then you can respond.
Let me give you my vision.
Can't finish a sentence.
Let me give you my vision. My vision for the next 4 years is to seek to make dramatic strides in the area of education greater than we've done to date. We've done pretty good. I am responsible for pre-K all-day kindergarten, for having reduced class size in the first three grades, for having initiated Operation Giant Step, where children who are 4 years of age on a voluntary basis can go to kindergarten, for having created Adopt a Class, where 250 and 150 more in the wings are waiting to go into classrooms. And I've been teaching in classrooms every month in Bed-Stuy 2 years ago, this past year in the South Bronx. But we want to do much more. We want to get those kids to have the skills that will get them good jobs and to eliminate the dropout rate. We want to provide employment for people. We have the lowest unemployment rate in 18 years, but there are still unemployed out there. We want to get them to job skills. We want to bring people into the middle class. Everybody wants to be middle class unless you're very rich, and there are not very many of those. But the largest number of people who make this town hum, who set the values in this town in terms of social values and provide the jobs and pay the taxes, are the middle class. And poor people, they don't want to be lionized by the ideologues and the populists as though poverty were something to extol, even though you say it's terrible. You want to extol the middle class because those people want to be elevated, and that's my vision, to elevate them into the middle class.
Unfortunately, the caller didn't stick around long enough to hear the entire answer, and it's his loss. If you want to ask questions of the mayor, at least have the courtesy to hear the response. But I think the germane question here is, there are always going to be problems in the city.
Of course.
I mean, there's never going to be
problems.
But
AIDS started in 1981-82, not in 1978.
But is this a more livable city than it was when you took
Well,
it?
if you ask the question, which will always be asked, do you feel better than you did, or are you getting better services? It depends on the service you're talking about. If you say to someone, how do you feel? You say, well, listen, it's awful. AIDS, drugs, homeless people, those are national problems. They did not exist in 78. If you ask, are we dealing now with the problem of creating for the low-income and moderate-income people in this town new housing, the answer is yes. Are we reconstructing our hospital system? The answer is yes. Have we reduced the unemployment rate? The answer is yes. Have we added cops? Not enough, but many more than those that we had when I came in 1978. You bet. So it depends on how you want to approach it. The new problems that we have are quite overwhelming. That even though I don't think the three Democratic candidates can run this city as well as I can, they certainly, any one of them would be better than Rudy Giuliani or Ron Lauder. Shall I tell you why?
Sure.
Okay. If you take Rudy Giuliani, I mean, his whole background is prosecution, and he will tell you that that entitles him to be the mayor. There's much more to being the mayor than simply being a prosecutor. But then let's even examine his credentials as a prosecutor. There are lots of people who hold against him the fact that he used the kind of means that are used in totalitarian countries to get a daughter to tap her mother's phone and to steal her mother's records so as to prosecute her mother. I mean, where do you find that? Not in this country normally. That's number one. Rudy Giuliani...
And you're blaming him for the actions of Secret Cable?
Of course. It's his decision to put her on. Oh, I think that's why he lost the case, frankly, amongst other reasons, that people were horrified that a daughter, particularly someone who is obviously in difficulties in her own personal life, would be used to entrap her mother. And it didn't work, but people were horrified. And then you have the second thing. You have Rudy Giuliani, who says, major prosecutor, he knows all about drugs. Well, what did he do? When he was the third man in the Department of Justice hierarchy in 1982, he was the third guy down. He was in charge of eliminating drugs in this country. Drugs exploded during his tenure. I don't blame him, but he can't say he stopped it. In addition, while he was in that position, he was asked by the White House to go down to Haiti to inquire with respect to whether Haitians were subject to political persecution or whether it was only economic, and the answer would then decide whether they would be given sanctuary here, like we've given it to the Cubans, Salvador, Soviet Jews, a whole host of people, Hungarians. And he went down there and he came back and he said, no, these Haitians don't deserve sanctuary and refugee status because it's only economic. They want to come here because it's a better life, but not because of any fear of political persecution. How do you know that, Rudy? Well, I spoke to Baby Doc Duvalier, and Duvalier told me, no, these people will not be persecuted. Well, that's idiocy, isn't it? I mean, you go to a tyrant and he assures you that he, the tyrant, is not going to persecute little people who are afraid of him. And based on that decision, the Haitians were placed in camps and still are. He did that. There are other things. Let's take two more. Let's take the most recent. HUD. You know, HUD is the Federal Housing Administration. We now learn that they stole from that Federal Housing Administration hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, they were doing it in part right across the street at 26 Federal Plaza, which is just across the street from Rudy Giuliani's office. How come Rudy Giuliani didn't investigate that? Why was it? Because he didn't want to investigate Republicans? Why? Surely he had a responsibility there. It just came out. Now, on drugs, Rudy Giuliani, big anti-drug guy. In his last year, that's 88, he actually was responsible for convicting 385 drug dealers and possessors of major narcotics in the city of New York, including the areas that he is responsible for, which are outside the city. He has 8 counties, 2 of them in the city of New York. So his total conviction rate was 385 drug pushers. Do you know what were convicted in New York City in that same year by the DAs? 45,000 drug pushers. And of the 45,000, 30,000 went to jail and 15,000 had alternative punishment, which I'm not big on, but lots of people believe in it. Probation and work and other things, civil fines. But compare the 30,000 that went to jail, 5 DAs, New York City, and Rudy Giuliani's pitiful 385. Big anti-drug prosecutor? Give me a break.
Michael, you're on with Mayor Koch on WMCA. Hello.
Hello. Good evening, Alan. Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Yes?
Mr. Mayor, I think you're correct on Rudolph Giuliani, and I agree with you on that.
Aren't you nice?
I respect you.
Thank you.
I do have a 2-part question. I'm going to ask the first part, and I'll listen to your response, and
Good.
I'd like to ask the second part.
Sure.
You talked about David Dinkins earlier, and you said, quote, you are responsible for your agents.
Yeah.
You said that about David Dinkins.
Sure.
Can you talk about your responsibility?
Absolutely. I have political responsibility.
I don't think you finished answering the question. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can
Go ahead.
you talk about your responsibility in relation to your officials who've been indicted?
Yes.
Or have stepped down?
Yes.
Because they were about
Okay.
Yes, I'm happy to do it. 6 people in my administration appointed by me were convicted, and every one of them went to jail, and in every case, my office, me, by letter, asked the judge to provide maximum punishment. And I have done that not only with the people who have been appointed by me, and I tell you, I'm sorry about that. I've appointed thousands of people, and 6 went wrong. Then there are hundreds in the 12 years of civil servants who I don't appoint, who are inspectors, hundreds of them. We uncover them in government. These are building inspectors and restaurant inspectors, and we go after them in terms of trying to send them to jail. I've even gone to court to try to get the judge to send them to jail when, on one occasion, the judge said she was only going to give them civil fines, and that's all she gave him, and I castigated the judge. personally present. I was in a court. We try to recapture their salary for the year in which they were corrupt, sue them for that. If I could, we would take away their pensions, but the state legislature doesn't allow us to. We've asked them to change the law on that. So, yes, I have political responsibility, but then you have to compare me with, let's say, Albany. Don't you think there are more than 6 people in Albany who are corrupt, been indicted or convicted? Or let's take what happens regrettably too often. Many people think that state employees are city employees, and they blame me or the city of New York. Just recently, 13 on one day and I think 7 on another day of the Department of Motor Vehicles people were arrested for giving to organized crime people and drug people illegal license plates. Most of the newspaper articles that I read did not mention this was a state agency. It's the state motor vehicle bureau, not the city. And so lots of people out there will say, oh, that's the city. The state does not get blamed for that. Or if you take people like Manis, who was independently elected, or Stanley Friedman, or Meade Esposito, I didn't elect them. They were elected in their own boroughs. And when Rudy Giuliani was not running for mayor and was saying what was honest without regard to whether it would help him or hurt him, because he wasn't running, he said this is a paraphrase, but it's quite close. Or maybe I think I have the statement here. Hold on. Let's see what it is.
We're then going to have to move on because I don't think I'll have time for your
All right, in any event, he said that the mayor...
adequately.
Okay.
My second question.
Yeah.
Are you aware of a church in Brooklyn called the Good Shepherd Holiness Church, whose building has been stolen by HPD officials in Bedford-Stuyvesant, and who informed you in your office, as well as high HPD officials, of this attempted thievery?
Oh, listen, you're a nice guy, so HP doesn't steal churches. I'll tell you what happens. And then we try. Please let me try to explain. Please let me try to explain.
We have to get an answer because we really have to take a break. We have very little time.
This is the issue. See, churches, in order to be exempt from real estate taxes, have to file forms every year. Many of them do not. And once they fail to file and the court action begins, it's out of our hands, and the church is confiscated or foreclosed. Then we try to get them to get the church back.
We'll continue with Mayor Koch.
I found the Rudy Giuliani quote. When he was the U.S. attorney, he gave the following statement. Quote, I think I know as much about these investigations as anyone knows, and there's not a single shred of evidence or suggestion that Mayor Koch knew of the crimes that were being committed by several of the Democratic leaders and the borough presidents, or had any involvement in those crimes, or would have done anything other than turn them in if he had found out about them. That's pretty straightforward, honest statement on his part.
And you're on WMCA. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
First let me say, please stay strong.
Okay.
Anybody thinks that they can run this city better than you've run it, God bless them. And it'll be a sorry city if people don't think before they push that lever. Because this is the hardest city to run. And Mr. Mayor, we love you. There's a lot of us for you. And people better think, because it'll be just a sorry New York City if you are not reelected.
Odd, it sounds like you're from Boston.
You are sweet wherever you live.
I'm honest. I don't know. You don't know me, and I know only of you. And
But I want to get to know you, Aunt Sarah.
no, it's not.
I'm only kidding.
No. I do know your campaign manager, and he is the second most honest person in this world.
That's Paul Crotty.
Number one.
Are you from Boston, Em?
Yes, 40 years ago.
Okay, thank you. Harvey, you're on WMCA. Hello.
Hey, can't you see the blacks are destroying this country?
Oh, stop that.
You're stupid.
You
Chris, you're on WMCA. Hello.
Jerk.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Question for you. Don't you feel that there should be some kind of tax break for a person that has to constantly rent an apartment in the city or, in the outer boroughs only because they didn't grow up in a wealthy family where...
No, I do not. Let me just tell you what the fact is.
Excuse me?
Let me tell you what the fact is, and this is going to shock you. that if you include all of the apartments that are rented through the New York City Housing Authority and all of the apartments that are rented by the City of New York in our in-rem housing and all of the rent stabilization and the rent control, this is going to shock you. 80% of the people of the City of New York pay $500 or less a month for rent. 20% pay much more, and they are not in any of those units that I mentioned, or Mitchell-Lama, which has very modest rents as well, and we want to keep them that way. So I am not going to tell you that there aren't very sympathetic cases where people are paying a lot more than they want to pay or should pay, and we are trying to address that by putting 1,000 units off the production line every month. And if you want to qualify for those units, they are affordable housing. You call 566-HOME, HOME, and they'll put you on the list and give you the addresses so you can apply for one of those affordable apartments.
Yeah, but let me ask you...
Who else would sing the case for deposed Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos? Who else would include 4 solos by and 1 duet with Marcos's wife, Imelda, heretofore best known for her shoe tree? Well, I guess, is Imelda Papin somebody else who then sings with Imelda Marcos? Is that the deal? It's Imelda Papin who's the star, and Imelda Marcos is on Imelda Papin's album. I get it. Look at how many Imeldas could there be? Anyway, there is an Imelda Papin. She is the star. Imelda Marcos sings on Imelda Papin's album. That's what it is. Imelda Papin has 31 gold records in the Philippines and lives in Hawaii just like the Marcoses. Or should it be Marcai? And Mrs. Marcos does 3 of her 4 solos in her native language. She does 1 song translated, which means wherever you are. Another one, how much I love you. And then because of you. And then she does, of course, the ever popular Feelings in English. And it says in this review that perhaps because of the deep emotions the song obviously summons, she has a little trouble holding the tune. Maybe also because she can't sing. Ever think about that? So it's available on cassette for $12.99. And, you know, I'd love to get a copy of this. Imelda Marcos singing Feelings. Let's see, what else is going on? We talked about this the other day. Christian Leaders for Responsible TV, or Clear TV, has announced a 1-year boycott of the Menon Company and Clorox Corporation because the two were among the leading sponsors of sex, violence, and profanity on television. Clear TV was founded by our pal, Mississippi Minister Donald Wildman, and they don't like the fact that these companies, Menon and Clorox, had the temerity to advertise on shows they've been asked not to by this group. Shows like Miami Vice. What a horrible, decrepit show, huh? What a vile, vicious, un-American show Tour of Duty was. Hey, what about that sleazy, disgusting midnight caller that these people object to, huh? How can people watch that and live? How can you watch these shows and still call yourself an American, ladies and gentlemen? So I'd like to urge that people, rather than boycott these companies, go out and buy Menon and Clorox products to counteract any boycott. I mean, how dare these religious fanatics tell these companies that people should not do business with them because they advertise on shows that don't fit their narrow moral code. It's disgusting. And that, to me, is un-American. You know, we have that on-off switch. Ever hear about that? Ever think of using that to vote, cast your vote on whether you like a show or not? Ever hear of something called, now this may be a radical concept for Americans, the free marketplace? Huh? Let's go to our phones. 212-570-WMCA. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah?
How you doing, Mr. Colmes?
Fine, thanks.
It's getting closer and closer, and I don't know if I could stand it, man.
Stand what?
Till Friday, you know? We're already at Wednesday, man.
Yeah.
We'll be, how you doing? This is Stephen Berlusconi, Mr. Colmes, and
Your name is Stephen Berlusconi, Mr. Colmes?
No, I mean, I'm telling you, Mr. Colmes. I've been listening to your show for about a month and a half, you know.
Boy, you're a long-time listener.
I just found it, you know. I was But the thing I'm calling about is...
There's probably the extensive advertising and promotional campaign WMCA did for me that got you into the fold, huh?
That's right. What I'm really calling about is, I know you believe in free speech, and that's the beautiful part of a radio graffiti.
I don't know, I'm rethinking this whole free speech thing.
Oh, but, when you get your next job, there's two guys that's been calling that's really been dragging the show down. One guy calls always Kahana.
Yeah, we're done with him.
And then the other guy's for Kahana, but he tries to
Yeah, they have no free speech rights.
Buddy's his way into you, and then he insults you by saying you smell when he puts the radio on.
Yeah.
And then he makes vile threats against... he's made vile threats against you and this guy that...
Yeah.
I mean, it's been...
Well, these people are going to have to find a life for themselves after Friday, won't they?
5 threats a night,
Yeah.
It says this.
Okay.
Hey, Alan, would you agree that you think the Lasser and the Love Me guy is the same guy?
Would I agree that I think that?
Yes.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Okay,
Thank you. WMCA, hello.
Yes, you hate Miami Vice, you're going to have to put up with it.
Okay. WMCA, hello.
Hello, Alan. What's the rumor I hear? You going to Boston?
No. I told Ed Koch that I might be taking some time off in Boston after Friday.
Got an exclusive here, babe.
And he said that call me when you get to Boston.
No.
No, I don't have any.
I've got the exclusive here.
Okay, whatever you say. WMCA, hello.
Yeah, hello. You're such a hypocrite. What about the program Days of Rage that can't get on PBS?
What about?
Well, why don't you say something about that?
Okay, why don't you say it?
Well,
I can't say everything about everything. You know what kills me? This is driving me nuts. These people drive me nuts. I hate your guts. I can say that now. I hate your guts. I hope you never call me again. I hope you catch a disease.
Yeah, okay.
Jesus Christ. I hate that guy. That horse's ass. Is that his name Timmy? That jerk. I hate your guts. You hear me? I hate you. But I feel a lot better now, and I don't think I'll have to go to therapy this week. I love these people who call me up and say, well, why did you talk about the Jews? Why didn't you talk about Israel? You talked about Central America. But, I talk about a couple of things a night at the top of the hour, and I give you a chance to call up and bring up other things. That's why it's a call-in show. You have the right to call in and the freedom to call in, talk about anything you want. But don't call me and tell me because I didn't bring it up, I therefore don't care about the issue, haven't put it in perspective, or I'm trying to shovel under the rug something that I don't think should be discussed. That's the implication, and it's wrong. And don't be stupid. You like that I did that, don't you now? Well, I don't have to be nice to you anymore. Any of you. WMCA, good evening.
Hi.
How are you this evening?
Political, outspoken analyst. How come he gives casual softballs? Why couldn't you conduct that your own?
Oh, I don't think asking him about his... May I respond? May I respond, or you want to keep talking?
Can I respond?
No, you asked me a question. I'm going to respond.
Yeah.
First, you're going to shut off your radio.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
Go ahead.
I asked him about his investment in South Africa. I asked him about his lacking of funding. I asked him about a number of things. I asked the questions that are in the news that day. When we have a mayoral candidate on the air, I asked him about the current issues. I asked him about his taking the gloves off with David Dinkins because of the racism issue. They're not softball questions. However, because I don't try to nail a guy, because I give somebody an opportunity... Let me finish. Let me finish. Because I don't try to nail a guy doesn't mean that they're softball questions. You may now speak.
No.
Okay, you don't agree.
First of all, the guy has overseen a city...
Well, why didn't you call and talk to him when he was on? I can't sit here. I'm not going to sit here and defend him there, okay? I'm not going to sit here as his spokesperson.
Sweetheart, what was that about?
I beg your pardon?
It was like a sweetheart little interview. It was terrible.
Well, then I'm glad you should have tuned it out. I'm sorry I wasted your time. WMCA, hello.
Hey, Colmes.
Phil.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Talking to the mayor. That's all right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah?
Hey, I bought myself a mechanical terrier dog.
A what?
A mechanical terrier dog.
A mechanical carrier dog?
Terrier.
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 Yeah?
Hey, I wanted it up there. Tail running around. It's a cute thing.
Okay.
Well, I was feeling kind of guilty about it because figure what the hell, a couple bucks I will get there. Put it on the kitchen table, run it around. Well, I'm reading a box here. not recommended for children under 3 years of age. I suppose that'd be the
Pardon me?
parts and I think I heard a kid or whatever. I don't think I can afford it. What the hell are you doing for 3 years of age? But I'm not under 3, you know, so I figure what the hell's legal. Nobody can prove anything maybe mental.
Phil, I don't know where you're going with this, Phil.
Sitting kids and Phil and watching the pup and beautiful and just want to say, man, the dog is a hell of a day.
Okay.
You second kid.
All right, Phil. Have a good one. Hope you turned in early tonight.
There you go.
You're on WMCA. Hello.
You know, I don't know what's wrong with sex and violence.
I beg your pardon?
I don't know what's wrong with sex and violence on TV.
I think whatever the market will bear, it should be a free and open marketplace. If people want to watch sex and violence, I believe that watching that stuff on television helps get it out of your system. It's a vicarious way of satisfying your animal urges, so you don't have to then go out and perform it in your daily life.
That's right.
I don't mean sex, but I mean violence.
You can also learn from sex, watching sex on TV.
I'm sure you would.
And violence, too, in case you got to defend.
Especially if it's a sitcom.
That's right. And what were those products? Clorox?
Pardon me? Menon and Clorox. Go out and buy them. WMCA, hello.
Dow Jones Industrial Average going up almost 40 points.
You're teasing me now. I can't take that kind of excitement. And you're on WMCA. Hello.
Do you know that since Terry Ricolta started her campaign against Married with Children, the show went from 61st place in December to 23rd place?
61th.
61th place.
61th place.
And this week...
Boy, I'm going to miss this, huh?
Did you know that?
Yeah, thank you. You're on WMCA. Hello.
Yeah, hello, this is Jay. I was a third caller to Mayor Koch. And you know why I hung up? Because he just filibustered.
No, because you didn't give him a chance to answer the question. And just like we can't now have a conversation. Every time he would get 2 or 3 sentences in, you would try to interrupt him. It was really antagonizing and boring. You're on WMCA. Hello.
Call me Mr. Optimist.
Okay, you're Mr. Optimist.
Mr. Colmes, I noticed a trend happening here.
What?
You know, everyone's going to miss you, you know, because tomorrow is your last day and everything.
Friday.
And I noticed that you're mad at the listeners. Why should...
No, I just said there's some of them who've really ticked me off. I have no compunction about letting them know, and some of them are complete jerks.
But they love you, Mr. Colmes.
Well, they need me because they have no other focal point for their stupidity.
You know, I know they curse and bitch at you, but behind the words, there's love.
That's a beautiful thing. I'm Alan Colmes, 212-570-WMCA, and you're on the air. Hello.
WMCA, and you're on the air. Hello. WMCA, and you're on the air. Hello.
Ever see those mirrors where there's one mirror you keep looking to infinity? That's the audio version of that. You're on WMCA. Hello.
How you doing, Alan?
Okay.
I hate to see you go.
Thank you.
Listen, I got problems with both Koch and Dinkins, okay? On the one hand, Mayor Koch says, well, I came here, we were on the edge of bankruptcy, right?
Yeah.
But we're on the edge of anarchy and collapse due to crack. I don't see the lesser of two evils.
No, but you can't blame can you blame the mayor for crack? I mean, is it the mayor's fault? Is it, you mean if Giuliani were mayor, he wouldn't have crack in the city?
I think we'd have a lot less crime.
I think that's a misnomer to think that just because Rudy Giuliani...
Crack, but...
Just to say that Rudolph Giuliani, because he's a former prosecutor, would have been mayor, we'd have less crime, automatically. I mean, I don't know that you can't back that up.
All right, well, and about David Dinkins, I think he goes to Reverend Al Sharpton's church.
No, he doesn't. He's denounced Sharpton.
He has. Well, they both have the same first commandment, thou shalt not pay taxes.
Well, David Dinkins, in his defense, did pay the taxes. He delayed paying them, but he did pay them.
He had to pay.
And he does not say what Al Sharpton's position is, that blacks should not pay and, in fact, should get reparations from the government. I think they're very different. I don't think you can compare Dinkins and Sharpton.
Well, how can Dinkins say that he forgot to pay?
Well, I don't think there are a lot of questions that have to be answered about that. I agree. But I don't think you compare him to Al Sharpton.
And like the mayor said, if you're a lawyer, you know the tax laws.
Yeah. Okay, goodbye.
Thank you.
WMCA, hello.
Yeah, Days of Rage can't...
You're on WMCA, hello.
Yeah, why you hate Miami Vice?
Why what?
Why you hate Miami Vice?
Why do I hate it?
Yeah.
I don't hate it. You're on WMCA, hello.
Married with Children went from 61st place to 23rd place. Huh.
You're on WMCA, hello. It's a pinball game. It's Pong. You're on WMCA, hello.
Hi, Alan?
Yes.
When you got the guy from Nambler scheduled?
Tomorrow night.
What time? What hour?
7 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Can't wait, huh? You're on WMCA. Hello. Maybe it should be Friday night, our last show. Hello.
Yes, Miss Colmes, have you seen the Queen's phone book? I wanted to...
I didn't know that the Queen had a phone book.
No, I mean, they have a small phone book, not in addition to the large ones that AT&T hands out or New York...
Oh, I thought you meant that I see Queen Elizabeth's phone book. You mean like little black books she keeps by her bedside?
Something like that. But like what I wanted to tell you was that they have a thing now with the Queen's phone book. They not only give you a map of Queens, but they also list in one direct thing in the middle of the phone book. They have a bunch of numbers you can call, like soap opera updates, how to find out what the weather is in Kansas City. I mean, this is really, I mean, who is going to dial these things? I mean, I want to find out what the weather is in Kansas City. I live in New York.
There are weather freaks. What about the Weather Channel? Anybody watch the Weather Channel? How long can you watch that? You do watch the Weather Channel? For how long? But how long can you watch that thing for?
It's like watching, what do they have now? They have the Home Shopping Network. How much stuff are you going to buy in one day? I mean, but with this...
Well, there are people, it's pathetic, but there are pathetic people who watch that and buy all this crap.
I know,
right?
Then you got, now you got the thing with the phone where you can find out what the top 10 albums are, then you can find out what you have on Broadway plays, which isn't too bad. I don't mind that too much because I like to go to a Broadway play once in a while. But I mean, it's like, what's next? Dial a picture. You even see on the television set, dial this for Nintendo, dial this for to speak to Al Lewis of the Munsters to find out what horror story he's got today. I think the way he looks is a horror.
Well,
I mean, it's a thing that's getting out of hand. It's all these numbers.
Let's think of some more of these kind of services that we could have. What other 540 services should there be?
I think there should be 540 pets because that's what it's turning into.
Yeah. Thank you. WMCA, hello.
Hello, Alan.
Yeah.
This is for you. I'll be there for you. These 5 words I swear to you. When you breathe, I want to be the air for you. I'll be there for you.
Thank you. It's beautiful. You're on WMCA. Hello.
Yeah, I heard a report that there's a high amount of disease and more cancer epidemics in the black community. Now, I'd like to get to the core.
I heard the same thing about New Jersey.
Yes, and I think it's because of the rats and the rodents and the filth and the garbage, the sewage, the graffiti covers up all the dirt. And I think that we could have the homeless people disinfect the housing projects, and we would help.
Oh, you're stupid, don't you? You're on WMCA. Hello.
Hi, Ellen.
Hi.
This is a lady who thought you were a lollipop. Now that I saw your picture, I know you're a lollipop.
You thought I was lollipop?
And now that I saw your picture, I know you're a lollipop.
I look like a lollipop?
Yeah.
How do I look like a lollipop?
You just look sweet and delicious.
Where have you seen my picture?
In the papers.
And you think I look like a lollipop?
Well, a beautiful lollipop.
That's very nice of you.
Very good to eat. Anyway, I would really like to wish you all the success. I'm going to miss you terribly.
What are you going to be licking after I'm gone?
My chops. Anyway, really, being serious now, you've been so entertaining for me. I'm a nurse and I take care of a very old person, and you make my day. I've been all day for this night when you're on. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, you really people whose lives revolve around me are living their lives correctly.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
But I wish you the best.
Thank you. You're on WMCA. Hello.
This is Dr. Bernardino, sir.
Mm-hmm. And you're on WMCA.
Hey, Mr. Cole? Hey, Mr. Cole?
It's Steve.
Yeah. Hey, I got ice in my mouth now.
You got what?
Ice. Ice, cold ice.
You got ice in your mouth?
That's good. I just spell frozen water with 3 letters, right? Ice, that's good.
Why do you have ice in your mouth, Steve?
I see a stupid thing, right? Laura's making a thing for taking a baby to the park, all this stuff, right? So she put some stuff in a dry ice stuff. I didn't know what dry ice meant. Oh, man, it burned my mouth, right? So now I got real ice cooling that off, right? That's bad news on the tongue. You got...
Okay. All right, Steve.
Let's go.
What?
Anyway, hey, I want to ask you a question. The heck was that question? I had a good stuff. Hey, this would have stopped the show, this question.
All right, Steve.
Hey, let's go.
What?
Done.
No, we're all set for Friday. We can't do it.
You can make a call. Just make a call and say happy birthday, right? You can do that.
You want to try and get Don Nuts on the phone on Friday? We'll try to get him on the phone on Friday.
Just say happy birthday, right?
We'll see if we can do it.
That's nice, Mr. Cole.
Yeah, we'll try. It'll be our last parting present to you.
That's a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cole.
WMCA, hello, Don Knoxville.
Stretch, fearless leader on the inside, fitting in stride, flying peacock, 3 of them across the track. Brave and Bright comes to him on the outside. Fearless leader, here comes 3 Chop Road and Brave and Bright. Fearless leader has the lead. Brave and Bright comes to him. Brave and Bright draws away on the top of the stretch. Fearless leader second. Brave and Bright in front.
WMCA.
Alan, have you had any other offers at any other radio stations?
Yes.
Oh, you can come work for Rite Aid Radio.
Thank you. WMCA, hello. And you're on WMCA.
Yeah, I'd like to hear the new hit song by Elmo and Lefty, Put a Tattoo on Your Butt, You Call Me.
Do we have the Elmo song? All of a sudden I'm doing a request show.
Yeah. I've been humming it ever since.
Okay, let's play that. Go right ahead. Go, here we go.
I'll put a tattoo on your ass and brand you commie. I'll put a tattoo on your ass and brand you commie. It fills me with such pride when I cut out your inside. I'll put a tattoo on your ass and brand you commie. I've got a sample of your blood on my plate, you scumball. I've got a sample of your blood on my plate, you scumball. By looking I can tell your soul was born in hell. I've got a sample of your blood on my plate, you scumball. I put a tattoo on your ass and brand you commie.
That song was replicated about 16 or 7 or 8 times on the. It's the same song with different lyrics. What's Burn My Flag is another one. What's one? Make Me Puke. Uniforms are the answer. This is the original punk rock, ladies and gentlemen. Elmo and his his right hand, Lefty. You're on WMCA. Hello.
Yes, Alan.
Yeah.
When are you going to have Mayrow candidate Gary Sella on your show?
Next week. You're on WMCA. Hello.
Yes, Alan. When do you think you're going to be working again?
When am I going to be working again?
Yes. What radio station?
What's it, the 80s now? Gee. I'm just going to put my feet up for a while maybe and watch the seagulls.
No, I'm serious. Do you have any idea what station you're going to be working at?
No, I don't.
Well, we'll be looking forward to it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You're on WMCA.
Yeah, I don't know. You going to have graffiti Friday? Because I want to, reveal myself in my graffiti.
Okay, we'll do final graffiti. You're on WMCA. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
You doing good?
Yeah.
I think your attitude tonight is perfect. I think this is the kind of attitude you should have with most of the callers and most of the time.
Well, I'm just tired of these people, and not you.
Well, you should be.
I'm not tired of most of our listeners. You see, what I've tried to explain over and over again is that there are the callers and there are the listeners. Most people listen but never call. They just enjoy the falderall provided by the callers, and they never participate. But some of the callers, I don't like them.
I think a lot of your listeners hate them as well.
And why should I act like I like them?
I'm with you.
Thank you very much. You're on WMCA.
Oh, would you accept a radio job outside of the New York City area?
Possibly.
The mayor said you're going to Boston.
No, I said I might be going to take some downtime in Boston, and he said, call me when you get to Boston. We'll chat.
Oh, well, right if you get work.
Thank you. You're on WMCA. Hello.
2.
2 what?
2 days.
That's right. Thank you. You're on WMCA?
Alan.
Yeah.
Since your first interview with Zsa Zsa Gabor went so well, how about having her call us Friday on your last show?
Only if our delay system is working. You're on WMCA. Hello.
Get out of my town.
And you're on WMCA.
Wherever you are, whatever you do, I'm Imelda Marcos.
And you're on WMCA.
Hi, Alan. I'm sorry to hear that you're going.
Thank you.
Listen, I was wondering, there's no minimum amount of time that you have to be off the air, is there?
No, there is not.
Oh, okay, great. Bye-bye.
Thank you. You're on WMCA.
Hello.
There is, however, a maximum. Yes.
Ellen?
Yeah. Elmo?
How are you?
Or is this Elbow?
No, this is the real, true musical genius, Elmo. And I'm sitting by the radio there, hearing some commie tripe as usual, and all of a sudden...
Commie tripe?
I hear...
Commie tripe, next donnie.
Wonderful music. What was that, Ellen?
It's our new format.
It's a beautiful thing. My God, you've never played a more beautiful song. What was the title of that, Ellen?
I don't recall.
You dog. You know, Alan, if I had given you this album some months ago, I don't think we'd be saying ta-ta. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, you would have saved the show.
I believe so. The ratings would have skyrocketed.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You know, Aaron, I would recommend...
You know, I noticed that probably, most of the conservatives who host radio shows, if some liberal had come to them with liberal puke music, like commie puke music, as opposed to the fascist puke music that you do, they'd never get on the air.
Oh, I explained that, didn't I?
But so at least I put you on.
No, but didn't I explain why that is? Liberals are stupid?
And I'm stupid to put you on the air? Is that what you're telling me?
Obviously.
Well, I better get smart right away. You're on WMCA. Hello. And you're on WMCA.
Could I get a dozen clams and a quart of New England chowder from Durgan Park on your way back from Boston?
Yeah. WMCA, hello.
Oh, say does that star-spangled...
You're on WMCA, hello.
Bring back the old days of disco.
WMCA, hello.
Yes, I know where you'll be working at.
Where?
WOR Radio.
Why would you say that?
I don't know. I'm psychic tonight.
Do you think I'll be at WOR?
Radio.
Well, as opposed to television.
Am I one of the listeners you dislike?
I beg your pardon?
You dislike me too?
No, I don't dislike you. You're the prayer lady.
Yes, I am.
You brought spirituality to the program.
Right.
You brought a consciousness to the show.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Huh?
What else?
That's about it.
Okay.
Thank you. WMCA.
Get out of my town.
Okay. You're getting boring now. Hello.
Yeah, that's the lamest excuse I ever heard about the Ed Koch thing in Boston. I mean, can't you come up with something better?
No. Not on such short notice. You're on WMCA. Hello.
Yes, our freedom of speech is freedom of death. You got to fight the power that be, Alan.
You're on WMCA. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Alan, sorry to see you go.
Thank you.
Is one question, Alan. I'm one of those listeners that never call.
Okay.
And that guy Steve who called you.
I'd like to hear from callers that never listen. 212-570-WMCA.
That guy Steve who called you, is he for real?
As far as I know.
He's not a bit of...
A bit? How dare you?
Do you write his material?
No, I don't write material for the show.
He sounds like he's mentally deficient or something. Is he married?
Yes, he is. He has a kid.
Really?
Yeah. Imagine what the kid must be like.
Yeah.
You're on WMCA. Hello.
Imagine what the kid must...
And you're on WMCA. What are you laughing at? You're laughing at Steve and being mentally deficient? The fact that Steve could have a kid? Imagine what that kid sounds like? Imagine being raised by Steve. Would you be better off being raised in the forest by wolves? Maybe that was Steve's problem. He was raised by a wolf pack. You were raised by a wolf pack, weren't you?
No, I'm Jerry's kid.
You're on WMCA. Hello.
Yeah, all right. You're Dan Taylor looking for a partner.
Yeah, right. You're on WMCA. Hello.
Here's Alan, who's worked most everywhere. Even MCA kicked him off the air. Alan fans are really rude because his career's gone down the tube. What a silly boob. He's a DJ.
Yeah, right.
All pretty mediocre, one they say. He talks a lot, he barks a lot. Him on the phone. That Alan, that boy Alan Colmes.
I didn't know tube and rude rhyme, but close. You're on WMCA. Hello.
Yes, what hour will Milton Hines be on Friday, Alan?
He'll be on at 7 o'clock.
Thank you, Alan.
Soupy sale. Thank you. You're on WMCA. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Colmes?
Yeah.
I just found out from a friend of mine that you're going to be going off the air.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, I didn't know you were on MCA. I followed you at ABC and...
I was never on WMCA.
Never on?
Never worked here.
But, I mean, I'm going to miss you, and I didn't even know that you were going to...
I'll make it clear that I never worked at this radio station.
But why did my friend lie to me then?
I don't know. I've never worked at WMCA.
I mean, it's because I've been following your career, and
I don't even know how you got me here. I just happened to be passing by and visiting a friend tonight. I never worked at this station.
You're going to be going to Boston and...
No.
And
Going on vacation.
And somebody just said that... And you just said you disliked your callers, and
I know, I dislike some of my callers. Huh?
I wasn't sure. I said, how can he dislike me? He's never talked to me before.
Yeah, well, you weren't a caller until now. I liked you up until the moment you called.
I mean, it bothers me a little bit because, I mean, everybody likes me. I mean, I have a outgoing personality, and
you're a regular Dale Carnegie, aren't you?
At times I'm a party animal. I mean, I really get down with all the girls at the disco and all that, and I always say Alan Colmes. You got to listen to Alan Colmes.
Yeah.
He's my favorite.
You go to discos? Do you wear leisure suits?
There's one that I wear. It's blue and white.
Beautiful.
And you know, and
do you wear shirts with long pointed collars?
No, I usually have a tie clip.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I decide if that night I'm going to put on like alligator shoes and everything like that.
It's Rick Moranis.
And you know, like I said, I just tell everybody, you know, Alan Colmes, listen to Alan Colmes because like, he's the best in New York. I mean, you know, Farber and Gray, they don't even come close to him. And then now I just found out that you were in New York and you're doing a talk show on MCA.
No, it's not true. I never worked here. Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate your kind words, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hello. I love you.
Love me.
I do love you. I love you. What more do you want out of me? I love you. What else do you want? You know that I love you, don't you? What might I do to show you, to prove to you that I love you?
Say it.
I love you.
Mean it.
I love you. You're on WMCA. Hello.
Yeah, Alan, I saw Do the Right Thing the other day. I'll make 2 quick points.
Okay.
One, there was a black cop in it. It was a black woman cop. She was there.
Yeah, but she had no speaking lines, and
There for a megasecond.
I mean, it was yeah, you blinked, you missed her.
Right. And then the next point was, I don't know why Spike did this. He gave all the cops in a riot scene white socks, which is indicative of rebels and rednecks.
Yeah.
You know? A very subtle point. And I don't know why he did that, because cops in New York will not wear white socks.